we're tracking as far as the Middle East is concerned, shifting focus away from the war in the Middle East towards the war between Russia and Ukraine. We're now learning that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has supported US President Donald Trump's proposal to impose tariffs on countries, including India, that continue engaging in trade with Russia. Now, Zelenskyy has described such measures as a right idea to hold nations accountable for their dealings with Moscow, especially amidst the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. He has emphasized upon the need for stronger sanctions against Russia, urging actions beyond statements, including tougher trade restrictions and tariffs. Remember, viewers, this comes as Russia has launched its largest aerial assault and targeted Kiev with over 800 drones and missiles. Zelenskyy has reaffirmed the urgency for global partners to take firm actions against Russian attacks. We do know that civilians have also lost their lives in the latest missile barrage that had taken place late last night. In fact, a government building was also struck. With us on the broadcast is Mr. Glenn Grant, former advisor to the Defense Minister of Ukraine. Thank you so much for taking our time speaking to us on NewsX World. What's interesting is, even as Trump is still mooting for trilateral talks, Putin has gone ahead and escalated the war even further with the latest missile and drone barrage we've seen, which has resulted in the loss of innocent lives in Ukraine overnight. Where do you think this is headed next? The EU leaders are going to be visiting Washington very, very soon. Is it urgent now, especially with these latest strikes, to finally chalk up a concrete security guarantee plan for Ukraine?
Yeah, that's a big ask that you're suggesting. I think the first thing is, it's quite clear that there's no peace on the horizon. I know this trilateral talks seems to have come out of Trump's head, because both Putin and Lavrov have said that there was no agreement of any such thing. And then we've had this nonsense of Putin suggesting Zelenskyy should go to Moscow, and Zelenskyy saying that Putin should come to Kiev. The two sides are as far apart as ever. And then when you talk about Trump and the Europeans going to see Trump, I mean, they're playing games at the moment. They're looking for security guarantees, but no one's willing to put troops on the ground properly until there's peace. Well, there's not going to be peace until someone wins this war. And at the moment, it looks heavily like Russia is actually beginning to get the edge. And one of those reasons is because people have not stopped buying oil from Russia. And so Russia is still getting the money it needs to keep the war going.
Indeed. And what else do you make of Zelenskyy's latest statements that have come in, especially with regards to sanctions against Russia? We do know that this is something that Trump has also highlighted earlier in the day. He's looking at probably imposing more sanctions. Will this really affect the Russian economy?
Well, I mean, don't forget, Trump has been talking about sanctions now for like 3 years without really doing anything. So he complained that Biden wasn't actually making enough sanctions, and now he's come in and he's not done any more himself. So I don't see that sanctions are any super answer to things. He's clueless about what will work, and his team don't seem to be actually interested in damaging Russia in any way. I suppose the biggest thing he's done is actually putting higher tariffs on India, and complaining that India is still buying oil. So I don't see going forward from Trump anything that is going to have any effect. I may be wrong. I'd like to be wrong, but I haven't been on this matter so far.
And what do you make of not just India, but also China being in the fray, purchasing Russian oil? It is the largest buyer of Russian oil, but somehow Trump does not seem to really be imposing tariffs upon China.
This is an interesting one, because of course China it's not just buying oil from Russia, although it's not buying as much as it could for the simple reason that the means of getting oil from Russia to China is still weak. But it's also, of course, bankrolling Russia with technical support, chips and spare parts and things like this. Why is Trump not sanctioning them? Maybe because people are saying that if you do this, China could close down on selling anything to Ukraine and to the West, and the West still needs things that China has got. So China is in a strong position because of its minerals and because of the technical support that it's giving to Western defense.
So with that, I would like to thank you for taking our time speaking to us on NewsX World.